What's good, everybody? We are tapping in for another episode of Manifest Mondays. We are both live from Phoenix, and today we got DJ Zenus in the building
You're
and myself, Ramon, reporting live from Phoenix. Like we said, man, beautiful day out here. You see the energy. We didn't make it this last Monday, but we wasn't gonna miss a week by any means necessary. We are here, um, and today we know it's the day before Super Bowl Sunday, right? So today we're gonna call this episode Super Bowl 60, right? But something that me and Z was talking about right before we hopped on here is um we're not gonna probably be diving specifically into the Super Bowl on this episode. What we want to talk about more is the rising around the people around the Super Bowl, because there's some interesting things going around the Super Bowl this year, particularly, right? And two of those things happen to be around the artist performing, right? So let's just go ahead and dive into it, man. How do you feel about this year's Super Bowl and the music artists that's tied to the Super Bowl this year?
uh I think Jay-Z is doing a damn good job with masterminding what this all looks like. I think since he's taken over like the creative direction of the Super Bowl, uh there's been no misses. I feel like, and I'm even more excited about this. I would say not more excited. I'm not gonna lie, I was pretty geeked for Kendrick last year.
Yeah,
Obviously for good reason. He had a crazy year, a crazy run in 2024, and then obviously, performing at the Super Bowl last year, was just classic, historic. But this year with Bad Bunny headlining, I think that's a major move for international artists, and then also with people like La Russell, who are performing at the Tailgate Show, which is like an official partner of, the NFL and the Super Bowl. It just marks a new wave of independence, even though he signed. I mean, like this is very recent that he signed. He pretty much made it to the Super Bowl as an independent artist, which is crazy,
absolutely.
right? That's unheard of. So I think that type of recognition is something that's, it's honestly amazing, and so I'm really looking forward to this year's Super Bowl, not necessarily because of the game, but because of the music, right?
Mhm.
I'm not even really necessarily that invested into the game itself. I'm not a Patriots or a Seahawks fan, so I could really care less who wins. I think the Seahawks are going to win if we're throwing our bids in, right? But the music is absolutely what I'm more geeked about than anything else.
Man, you hit on a big point that I want to start there before we really dive into the artists that we talked about from this year. Is Jay-Z's curation. You know what I mean? So would he take it over? I think it was 2019 or 2020, I believe.
Hmm.
And since then we've seen, just working backwards. You said Bad Bunny's this year. Before that, we had Kendrick. The year before that was it Usher, I believe, in
Hmm.
Vegas. And even so that before that, it was
Weekend, I think.
The Weeknd, Rihanna, Dr. Dre.
Hmm.
I can't remember who was before that. But I mean, just that lineup alone, like they're like just powerful lineups. I think he's always been somebody that's in the know of the culture, but to see him curating and selecting the most, it feels like some of the most deserving pieces every year is a really dope thing. And like you said, this year is a really interesting one because isn't Bad Bunny the first Latino artist to headline the Super Bowl? And like Latino
No,
male artist.
male artists maybe, because
I know,
obviously
I know it's
uh
Shakira
Shakira and J Lo
and
did
J Lo
one,
did one.
but he might be the first male Latino artist to headline the Super Bowl. Yeah,
I thought I
I'm
thought
pretty
I
sure.
seen I thought I seen that somewhere, man. And and more deservingly so, man. I mean, he's you know even people that don't know him, he's one of those people that the name. If you don't know, you can't understand the music. He's one of those people that it's like transcended
Yeah.
just like
Yeah.
genres. Like he is a cultural phenomenon for real. Like he's been everywhere, you
real.
know what I'm saying? And then and even just like I said, being friends with you and you knowing all types of music, when seeing you out, man, I literally have like last weekend seeing some girls come up like, can we request something? And you was like, what is it? And they was like Bad Bunny. You like, all right. You know what I'm saying? But you know,
Yeah.
it shows both sides of like, of course, you know all music, but knowing that that's going to work for a crowd. So that was a good suggestion, and then the crowd actually wanting it. You know what I mean? From different
Yeah.
places, like
Yeah.
you know, Bad Bunny is he's did his thing, man, and that's one thing we want to talk about for this episode is just like his meteoric rise. A
Yeah.
couple years, like a couple, probably, I mean, a couple weeks ago, I think we seen a post from Bad Bunny talking about that he was, you know, bagging groceries 10 years ago.
Hmm.
Man, let's speak to that real quick, man. A lot of people think meteoric rises aren't possible, but just 10 years ago, so that makes it 2016.
Hmm.
He said he was bagging groceries and now he's headlining the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
By like not co-headlining, is Bad Bunny's doing the Super Bowl. He probably gonna
It's
bring
him.
some people, but let's talk about that for a little bit, man. Like, how do you feel about that meteoric rise and what does that mean and look like for you?
I think it's first and foremost, I want to give a lot of kudos to Bad Bunny, man. I think he is a generational talent, you know, and his ascent has been wild. You know, from my first exposure to him was the song Crippy Kush, and to just see his evolution as a musician and whatnot, and everything that he's done for his culture and like the music and whatnot, just over the time is crazy. But I don't want to like make it seem like anyone can go out and do this, right? Like meteoric rises are possible, but this is also like this his journey is honestly not common. Like that's a very rare thing to go from bagging groceries 10 years ago to now headlining the Super Bowl. That's not a common thing, right? You know, but I think that is very inspirational because it shows you that like if you believe in something so wildly, he was bagging groceries while you know, he was using that as means to make or that as a means to make ends meet at the time, and he was still uploading music to SoundCloud and other platforms and whatnot, you know, just because he believed in his music and knew that it would take off eventually, and it did. But I think a lot of people feel like things are just not possible. And if he would have believed that, and we talk about it all the time, right? People will always tell you what you can't do. Very few will tell you what you can. That's why it's important to just maintain your uh, borderline. Just like you got to maintain your audacity and your laser focus and uh, really just like unshakable belief in the vision and what it is that you want to accomplish, right? Because if you feed into other people's opinions and whatnot too much, you won't get anywhere, you know, right? And he saw a vision, he ended up bringing it to life, and to go from that to this, you know, is crazy. And like I said, I think it's very inspirational. It's uh it's it's not like it's just the Latino culture itself that's huge Bad Bunny fans. I think he was mentioning he's the biggest artist in China too, right? You know, like it's not just this is truly an international thing now. He is the biggest artist arguably in the world. Um, you know, having been the most streamed artist multiple years, holding that throne. And yeah, man, I just can't even talk about it enough. It's crazy to see his ascent, and I'm excited for his Super Bowl performance because I think he's really going to put on a hell of a show and make a statement doing it.
That's a big fact, brother. Shout out to Bad Bunny, man. Shout out to Bad Bunny, man. Just you know, it's been dope to see that rise, man. And like you said, it's not regular, but it it does show you anything that is possible, right? Like it
Anything is
does
possible.
reinforce that thing. Like it probably won't happen to the average person, but it can. You know what I
It
mean?
can.
It can, man. And I think that's what's dope. And speaking of that same kind of like concept a little bit is let's dive a little bit into to La Russell.
Hmm.
He's going to be doing the tailgate, and his band is going to be curating like the music inside of the stadium for the Super Bowl. So the best way I could kind of think of that is probably like if you think about a DJ that was DJing in a stadium, but it's pretty much going to be like him and his band curating the sound for it. And I seen some of the clips. Sounds really dope. They putting it's Super Bowls in San Francisco, so they really putting
Yeah,
the Bay twist on it. I
yeah,
heard them kind of flipping. Um, the Thizzle dance and you
yeah,
know what I'm saying, get some
yeah.
Mac Dre flips in there. So I know it's gonna be real Bay based. But man, that rise is just as amazing. Like you said, an independent grind going from pretty much all the way independent, all the way to the Super Bowl. You know, and we talked about he just got signed, but he's one of the most inspirational people I'd say in hip hop right now, just because
Absolutely.
how innovative his approach has been to things. You know what I mean? And I like I said, I with him, it's so dope to see what dope creativity looks like on the business side too. Cause he's like him and his team has been super creative on the business side. And I think that like that's almost like it's always been looked at dope, right? It's always been looked at dope when Master P makes a fire, deal and he's pushing hundreds of thousands out the trunk, or Jay-Z does the Def Jam connection, or we always look at these like generational business creative moves as dope sometimes, like, but we don't get to see the inner workings of it till way later. Dope thing about La Russell is he's kind of showed us in real time what this thing could look like building independently and just kind of documenting the whole process, man. So
Yeah,
like I said, it's and shout out to Kels. He's in the comments. He said La Russell's on a generational run right now. And
crazy, man.
I couldn't say it more, man. If anybody's
Yeah,
watching this, I would highly suggest watching his Breakfast Club interview, man, and it kind of like paints the picture a little bit more even. But yeah, man, it's really dope to see, man. And like I said, I'm honestly more excited this year. Of course, being a Broncos fan, man, we was right there, man.
yeah.
Come on, we need Bo Nix back next year, baby. But but I'm actually more excited about some of the things around the Super Bowl with the Russell and Bad Bunny this year, man. So
Yeah,
yeah, it's amazing to see.
yeah. I think La Russell it's just a different type of grind too. That like that's what we talked about is um just what he's been able to accomplish in, I don't want to necessarily say a short amount of time because I don't want to take away all the things that he's done, but I feel like in the like last 2 to 3 years,
Hmm.
I didn't really start following his journey until like maybe like 2 years ago, I think. Maybe three, but maybe like 2 years ago is when I really started tapping in. He's just whether you and honestly, I've talked about this before. I'm not necessarily the biggest fan of his music, right? La Russell, I just respect what he like his who he is as a person and what he stands for, like what he does in the community. We talked about this conversation offline. Is he might be the epitome of what a hometown hero looks like, but he's transcended that, right? He's not just a hometown hero. Now, granted, he's doing it big for his community in a major way, and is one of the performers at the Super Bowl in his hometown in the Bay, and whatnot. And his band is performing as well and whatnot. But his ascent is astronomical, right? It's not just within Vallejo and the Bay in California, it's everywhere now. If you're a follower of hip hop, you've probably heard La Russell's name at some point now, just because of how much he's in your face. And that's really just to your point. What you said is him documenting his entire process, right? He posts what 3 to 4 times a day, which is nuts.
Every
Like
day,
every day,
every
too.
day.
We're not talking about just 5 days a week, 4 days a week. He posts 3 to 4 times every day. So you see everything that's going on with him and his journey in real time. And that type of transparency is something that we haven't really seen. And that's why I think people have been so invested into his journey is because he's established that trust and what that looks like, because he's like, look, I ain't got to fake the funk about nothing. This is exactly what I'm doing. This is how I'm doing it. This is who I'm doing it with. Do y'all rock with me or not? If you do, cool. If you don't, that's cool too, you know, right? But like, I'm gonna keep going regardless. And that shit is just, I don't know, man. It's inspirational at the highest level.
Man, and man, it's always dope to see like legendary runs in real time. Like, you know, like sometimes watching some of his interviews and him speak like about his business acumen and his team and stuff like that, it kind of reminds me of Nipsey. And like there's we're at the cool age now that we've seen some people from like start to fin, like you know what I'm saying, start to now just build and grow. People like, you know, Nipsey, we watched their whole journey. You know what I mean? People like Kendrick, we've watched that whole journey. You know, now people like the Russell, you know, kind of a little bit newer to that new. I would say a little newer. He just, you know, but part of that new generation of like fire business acumen and good energy, and you know, creating his own like, man, it like what you said is just like posting 5 times a day is one thing, but I think they create a system where like everything that they posted like has some quality to it too. So you could tell they invested even in their own. If it's just stuff with them at the crib, you could tell it's a fire camera that they got. You know what I mean? It's, you know, it's not always edited, but it don't always need to be. But it's always high quality looking.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I think that's super important to just paint a picture. I heard a videographer tell me one time, he was like, investing in good videography is not going to make people buy your thing. It's going to make them trust you because you invested in your thing. And then the trust is going to make them buy something from you. You know what I mean? And I was just like, that's a good way to say it. And like the Russell's probably a perfect example of that. Is like, he makes it feel like him asking his community for something never would feel like he's taken from the community because he's given so much to it. He showed us his thing in real time. He was transparent about it. He showed us, you know, some of his business plays. He's giving back to the community, literally. When I first seen him like kind of taking off, he used to just like book out restaurants and around the city and then be like, you know, today is free for everybody who want to go.
Yeah.
I just was like, I ain't never seen nobody just do that. Like, and he wasn't a huge artist at the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Just book it out and like, yo, I love this restaurant. It's free for everybody who goes today.
Yeah.
Shit like that, man. It deserves for, you know, he deserves to win. You know what I mean? So shout out to Lil Russell, man.
Yeah. That type, you know, it's just it's hard to root against somebody like that, you know, right? I think is the biggest thing when it's not like he's selfish and self-centered and this is all about me. To your point, he's very much about the community and building up the people around him and just you know, paying it forward. You know, his he just went on a legendary run with his album sales. You know, right? They announced that he had made like $350,000 from his album sales before it had even come out, right? You know, his album still isn't out yet, you know, which is crazy. And one of those large purchases was from Kyrie, you know, right? Obviously, like Kyrie, you know, paid him 11 bands for his album, and he took that entire 11 bands and paid it out to the community, right? You know, like that's paying it. Most artists wouldn't do that, you know, right? And so I think just that type of mentality, it's hard to root against somebody like that, you know, right? Like he feels like he's just somebody for the people, right? You know, like you see it in real time, like what that looks like. It feels genuine too. It doesn't feel like it's a facade, it's a show. Like this is truly something that like he's passionate about because he does it time and time again. You know, just like you mentioned, he was doing this before, like, you know, like he was really getting to, we don't know if he really was getting to the bag then, but he damn sure wasn't getting to the bag then like he is now, you know, right?
Sure.
So just being able
having
to
$11,000 days probably yet.
Exactly. You know, so salute to Lil Russell, man. I know that's something that you know, we always say the music business is 90% business, 10% music, right? 10% talent. He's got the business shit down. He understands it and is leveraging it to his advantage, and in real time, he just signed to Rock Nation. That's going to be a major move for him. And anybody who doesn't believe that, Rock Nation has generated a lot of successful artists and billionaires, right? So it's going to be really interesting to see like what transpires moving forward. But like I said, it's hard to root against somebody like that. So salute to LaRussell, man. It's truly remarkable to see what's happening, and I'm excited to see what he does at the halftime show as well.
And as y'all could tell, we're probably both a little more excited about the music part of the Super Bowl than the Super Bowl this year. but on the same note, man, it is kind of dope to see two new quarterbacks go there. It's gonna be cool to see even the possibility of like there's certain storylines. Cooper Kupp getting his possibly second one.
Yeah.
Drake May, what I'm saying, lighting it up this year and going all the way to the Super Bowl, even though, what I'm saying, it's all about the Broncos over here. It wouldn't have went that way if we was healthy, brother. But but who are you taking on the Super Bowl this year?
Oh, Seattle.
Easy.
Honestly, I believed whoever comes out of the NFC was going to win the Super Bowl. I was actually talking to my mom about this earlier. The AFC has dominated for a while now. Philly winning last year was like the turn, right? I feel like that. I think that was a shift. I think the NFC. Not saying that I think the NFC is going to dominate the AFC, moving forward, but I think the NFC has produced a lot of great quality teams, right? Philly, went from winning it last year to being I don't want to necessarily say irrelevant, but they were like a very like low tier team. I feel like this year they still made it to the playoffs, but it was just like, I don't know, like that.
It was an interesting year. It was like I don't think anybody could have called the way this year played out.
Yeah, no, definitely not. Definitely not. But I mean, honestly, in that division, in Seattle's division, they had 3 playoff teams, right? And all were really good. I think I think SF was good. I don't think they were a great team. I think they were a good team. But honestly, I had chosen LA to win it all, right? I honestly think LA should have won that game. I mean, you can always say shoulda, coulda, woulda. Had the punt returner not fumbled the damn mishandled that damn ball, the game might have ended differently. But it is what it is. Same thing like on that side. Like if Bo Nix hadn't gotten hurt, Denver might have won that game. It's all shoulda, coulda, woulda. You just never know, right? But I say all that to say.
But
yeah,
I digress.
Yeah,
I digress.
Yeah, but I think the NFC and honestly, Seattle has looked very dominant this year too. Though that's the thing is, Seattle has looked dominant. They were smacking a lot of teams, just like bulldozing through them, right? And they have all the pieces to the puzzle. They play great defense. They're very sound on offense, and they play great special teams too. Like all around, it's hard to kind of like see how New England can pull it out. I'm not saying that they can't. I'm personally calling it. I'd say I think Seattle will win 31-20.
Like a dominating win, pretty much is what you're saying. Yeah, 11-point win is a dominant. I like that. I like that prediction. Yeah. I'd probably be somewhere in similar. I think it's going to be a little bit lower scoring. I think I might call it. Let's call it 27-20. You know what I mean? I'm thinking it's going to be a game, something like that. So but definitely, I'm still thinking the Seahawks is going to take it. So. Yeah.
And I'm not gonna lie, I don't want to see New England win.
I never want to see them.
I'm not gonna lie, I don't want to see.
I don't care who plays there. I never want to see New England win, bro.
I don't want to see that because then they're gonna start this whole talk about like them being a dynasty again and all this shit. I don't want to hear none of that.
Not doing
I'm like, man, look, man, I am a hater. I was gonna say, you know what? I'm not a hater, but I am. I am a New England hater. I don't want to see none of that.
Sports
None
is
of that
sometimes
shit.
when you could be a hater, bro. Like it's like we didn't allow. Sports is a place where you can be you're allowed to hate. Like you know what I'm saying? You can
No
hate
one,
and not. You
nobody
can
wants to
hate
see
and
New England win
you could you
unless
could
you're a
peace,
Boston fan.
you could peacefully hate and not be a hater in sports. you
Yeah,
know what I mean? So,
yeah.
well,
But
man,
this is gonna be interesting.
we're not gonna hold this episode too long. I was gonna say, we just wanted to make sure that we hopped on here, make sure we kept this consistency, and like we said, the biggest thing this year in the Super Bowl, man, shout out to the meteoric rises of
Hmm.
both Bad Bunny and La Russell on generational runs,
Yeah,
representing their culture in a major way.
major way, man.
Both
Major
of them,
way.
and in a major way, man. So they're literally, when I think about it, as I said that too, I think about like the shoulders that the Russell stood on, and just the Bay, and you know what I'm saying, and E40 and Mac Dre, and you know what I mean, all that up to the Super Bowl, like standing on the shoulders of that, and then the same with Bad Bunny, standing on the shoulders of all the evolutions of reggaeton and Latin
Yep.
music, and you know what I mean. It's really dope to see them, both rise to this level.
Hmm.
And the
Because
meteoric rises they've had.
I think reggaeton has obviously it found its way obviously into the like American culture. When you think of the Americanized version of reggaeton, you think of like Despacito. That's the first song
Yeah,
that always comes to mind, right? You
for
know,
sure.
but I think the coolest thing about it is Bad Bunny was the first Latin artist to win album of the year for an album in an entirely different language, right? You know, anyone who's heard Bad Bunny speak, he does not speak great English, right?
Yeah,
And um, just like you mentioned, just putting on for his culture in a major way. I think he celebrates his heritage and all Latinos in a big way. And for Puerto Rico, like for his last tour, he specifically made sure that everything went through Puerto Rico, right? For a reason. That's why he did his residencies in Puerto Rico, because yeah, he could have toured but he didn't tour in the US at all, because he wanted all the money to go through Puerto Rico and all Latin communities, right? And so
I didn't know that. That's fire,
yeah,
bro. That's fire.
he intentionally didn't tour in the U.S. or anything like that. He wanted all the money to go through his home country. So um, major, right? Like I think it's dope to see people, and honestly, I think that's how you really generate those meteoric rises. I think now too is just, we talk about it all the time, right? When your purpose is aligned with just not yourself, but like investing into other people and building up your community and the people around you as well, it makes a lot more people invest into it as well. So huge kudos to Bad Bunny, to La Russell, man. Keep doing what y'all are doing. I'm excited to see what y'all do at the halftime show and beyond. I can't speak to how inspiration y'all are, and giving y'all's flowers in real time, right? I think we talk about it all the time, is we have been able to see these meteoric rises happen in real time with the people like Nip, with the Kendricks, with the Bad Bunnies and La Russells and all that stuff. And being able to give them their flowers now, I think is important, because to your point, it's easy to be a hater, right? It's so
Yeah.
easy to be a hater, but to show love, they've already, I think, given so much love to the community and to the people and whatnot. It definitely should be reciprocated. So shout out to them.
And I want to, like, that was a great note to end on, bro. In my mind, I feel like, me, you, a lot of people we know have never really been haters, and I always thought it wasn't hard to not be. It wasn't hard to not like to show love, right? It wasn't hard to show
Mhm.
love. I always thought that, but as you were saying that, I was like, for a lot of people, it might be right. It might be kind of getting over the ego of your own ego to put, kind of like people feel like they're lowering themselves to show other people love. They feel like maybe they're in a spot they wish they were in, so it's kind of like it could be an envious thing.
Yep.
So I always thought it wasn't hard to not be a hater, or not, or it wasn't hard to show love, but for some people maybe it is. And I just want to say, man, that a lot of times that just comes from insecurity a little bit, man.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like, but when you could be secure in yourself, it ain't nothing wrong with telling somebody else you going crazy. It
Yeah.
got nothing to do with, especially, and it means more when it has nothing to do with you. You know what I mean? Like, I could tell somebody they're going crazy, and it's not because I hope they do something for me. It's just like, you going crazy. That's it.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So So that was I like the way you put that a lot, brother. And like you said, man, it's dope to be able to give flowers and man, to people that deserve it, man, in real
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. Well, that being said, man, we appreciate everybody who tapped in. Diamond couldn't be here with us today. He was feeling a little under the weather, but shout out to our guy. We hope he gets well soon. But we'll be back on Monday, back to regularly scheduled programming. Even on the days or weeks that we can't connect at our regular time or like with our regular squad, we're still going to continue to show up. I think that's the biggest thing that anyone could learn from the Bad Bunnies, the Lil Russells, and everything else. Show up. Continue to show up, man. Like that's all it is. And I think that's what separates the few from the many is most people give up or just stop showing up for themselves. Right when you're on the brink of something great, right? And so I know not every episode. Before we hopped on, Ramon and I, we were talking about it. Not every episode has to be groundbreaking. It doesn't have to be revolutionary. It doesn't have to be legendary. It's just the ability to just continue to keep showing up for yourselves and for everybody else too, right? Because you never know who's watching, right? And I think if anything that can be learned from these people and their journeys, especially when they rise to just like astronomical levels, is they just continue to show up, right? Even when it was hard, even when shit hit the fan, and whatnot. Not everything is sweet. We only see obviously what's on social media and whatnot, but you don't see all the obstacles and the twists and turns and shit like that happens in the background. And on the days that you don't want to show up, there's episodes where we haven't wanted to like pull up and do this pod, but every time we leave this conversation, I always am grateful for having these moments, right? And so if anything can be learned from all of this, it's just continue to show up. If not for anyone else, really should just be about showing up for yourself.
1,000%, man. Show up and show out every time, brother. You never know who's watching. You never know who needs it. And you never know what'll come from it, man. So keep going.
That's it.
Yes, sir.
Other than that, we'll see y'all next time, man. We appreciate everybody who tuned in. Be sure to follow us at The Spot Network on all social media platforms. Like, comment, subscribe, all the things. We'll see y'all next week. But go Seahawks.
All right, y'all.
All right,
yes,
y'all.
sir.